What do you think rich people feel when they wake up? Secure, relaxed, like they've finally made it. Most of us imagine that once you hit a certain net worth, all your money worries just disappear. But here's something that might surprise you. Study after study shows the complete opposite. The richer people become, the less rich they often feel. How can millions of dollars still feel like it's not enough? The answer isn't in their bank account. It's deep inside your brain. We all have this hidden psychology of endless wanting, and today, we're going to unpack exactly how it works. So, let's say you just landed a massive payday. That first moment feels incredible, right? It's surreal. You feel like you can buy anything, do anything. But then, something strange happens. Your brain adapts, and it adapts incredibly fast. What once felt like an unimaginable luxury, that fancy car, that bigger house, those first-class flights, quickly becomes your new normal. This isn't just a feeling. It's a well-documented psychological phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. Your mind is constantly recalibrating your expectations, the goalpost you were so desperately running towards. Once you reach it, your brain just picks it up and moves it further down the field. That first million feels amazing until you start thinking about what it would take to get to 10 million. Your internal finish line is always in motion, which is why the feeling of arrival is so fleeting. It's a treadmill of desire, and your brain is designed to keep you running. Now, here as the second piece of the puzzle, we are all wired to compare ourselves to others. But here's the catch: we almost always compare upward. If you're struggling financially, you might look at your neighbor with a slightly nicer car and feel a pang of envy. But what happens when you're rich? You're not comparing yourself to your old neighbors anymore. You're looking at the people in your new circle. The millionaires are looking at the 100 millionaires. The 100 millionaires are looking at the billionaires. And the billionaires, they're comparing themselves to the top 10 wealthiest people on the planet. No matter how high you climb, your brain instinctively finds someone who's even higher. This isn't a modern flaw. It's an ancient survival program. For thousands of years, human beings lived in tribes with clear status hierarchies. Being ahead meant better access to resources, more safety, and a higher chance of survival. Being behind meant you were vulnerable. Your brain is still running that old software. It's constantly scanning the horizon, not to see how far you've come, but to see who's still ahead. That feeling of being behind triggers a primal anxiety that no amount of money can fully erase. And this brings us to a crucial neurotransmitter, dopamine. We often think of dopamine as the pleasure chemical, but that's not quite right. It's more accurately the pursuit chemical. Dopamine doesn't spike when you have something. It spikes when you are chasing it. Think about it: the thrill of closing a huge business deal, the excitement of watching a risky investment pay off, the anticipation of getting that next big upgrade. That's dopamine at work. It's the engine of motivation. But what happens once you've achieved the goal? Once the deal is done, the money is in the bank, the new car is in the driveway, the dopamine rush fades, and your brain, craving another hit, immediately starts looking for the next target, the next pursuit. Logically, money should bring security and peace of mind. But dopamine doesn't care about security. It cares about the chase. So even with millions in the bank, the brain manufactures new goals, new mountains to climb, not because you need more, but because it's addicted to the feeling of striving for more. The satisfaction isn't in having, it's in getting. On top of all this, a wealthy life creates its own unique set of problems. It sounds counterintuitive, but the more you have, the more you have to worry about. A higher income almost always leads to higher expenses. That's called lifestyle inflation. The mansion needs a groundskeeper, the yacht needs a crew, and the private school tuition bills are astronomical. The expectations on you also rise, both from others and from yourself. And perhaps the biggest new problem is a profound fear of loss. When you have very little, you don't have much to lose. But when you've built a fortune, the thought of losing it can become an all-consuming fear. Your entire identity can become tied to your wealth. So, your brain's focus shifts. It's no longer about the joy of creating or the pleasure of enjoying what you have. Instead, it becomes a high-stakes game of protection and preservation. Maintaining your wealth starts to feel like a matter of survival. And that's an incredibly stressful way to live. The freedom you thought money would bring is replaced by a new kind of prison. So, is there a magic number? A specific net worth where this cycle finally stops and you feel truly, permanently rich? The honest answer is no. Because this feeling of not enough is not a bug in our system. It's a feature. Your brain evolved over millennia for one primary purpose: to keep you alive. And in a world of scarcity and danger, the individuals who survived were the ones who were never fully satisfied. They were the ones who were always seeking more resources, always preparing for the worst-case scenario, and never allowing themselves to get too comfortable or relax for too long. A complacent ancestor was a dead ancestor. That deep, instinctual drive to seek, to acquire, and to prepare is what helped humanity thrive. But in today's world of relative abundance, that same evolutionary programming keeps us on a hamster wheel of endless chasing, long after our basic survival needs have been met. It's a system designed for a world that no longer exists. So in the end, it's not that rich people feel poor. That's a common misconception. And that feeling of being almost there is the single most powerful and relentless motivator the human brain has ever devised. It's the psychological fuel that keeps the engine running, forever chasing a horizon that always seems to be just one more step away. That's why, for so many, wealth never truly feels complete. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more insights into the psychology of our modern world.